Hello, I'm Chris Williams from Read Comics They're Bad For You, the name of my YouTube channel. Or if you're watching this on BitChute or Library, the name of my channels on those two websites is Comic Freak. We're going to be talking about Star Wars again, and particularly an article from Scott Middleton, who's basically been known as praising Star Wars Episode 9 endlessly, well, up until now. So let's look into this article and see what he has to say about things, because it proves he's pretty much a liar. But first, he's also getting criticism from his fellow SJW writers who pretty much are calling him out on his article right here. Here's one from Jason Ward. To the contrary, Forbes may never recover from being unintentionally hilarious. There's no such thing as a stupid question, but there are stupid opinions. The beauty of free speech is we can see how stupid Scott Middleton's Star Wars opinions are for that SEO mill over there. And you can see the article we're looking at right now. Star Wars may never recover from the damage done by Rise of Skywalker. And yes, his fellow SJWs have turned on him much like he himself has turned on Disney's Star Wars. And it is hilarious. And we'll continue to look at this little bit here later on in the video, but I just wanted to give you a heads up on, hey, well, you know what they say about SJWs, they will always turn on you. And even for the most slightest of things, and you can see it right here with Jason Ward turning on his fellow friend and, well, writer, Scott Middleton. But let's get into this article now. We're only going to be looking at parts of it that I think are the most important to this video. So, let's get into it. No matter what happens to Star Wars, be it on buzzy shows, on Disney Plus, or on the next batch of hopefully well-liked movies, Lucasflim and Disney will have blown the self-proclaimed ending to the Skywalker saga. Yeah, it is true, they completely destroyed the Skywalker saga, and you were praising them up till you turned your back on them because you hope to save your career because you don't want to go down with the ship that has become Disney's Star Wars, Scott Middleton. He goes on to say, today is the 2-month anniversary of the domestic debut of Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker. Star Wars Episode 9 debuted on Thursday, December 19th. I've made a mixed negative reviews and lower audience polling scores than any previous live-action theatrical Star Wars movie. In pure financial terms, it's a hit. It earned $514 million domestic from a $177 million budget and around $1.69 billion. Worldwide, to the extent that it may look disappointing. It's partially about that mini Disney mega hits, Avengers Endgame, Frozen 2, The Lion King, etc. that ended up dwarfing Star Wars 9's comes. Had it opened in 2020, it may have been this year's biggest grosser. Had it opened this year, it probably would have been a better movie. Instead, its final gross puts it on the defensive while the artistic reception imperils the entire franchise. Ah, what a load of malarkey. First off, it's only barely a hit. It's lost most of its, audience from The Force Awakens. Second, if it opened this year, I think it would have still fallen by the wayside. Lucasfilm and Disney will still have to cope with the fact that they botched the endgame to this Skywalker saga, no matter what comes next. I see, dropping the Avengers Endgame name in your little article here to pretty much hype your article and hope that more people will read it. But either way, you've pretty much proven the fact that Disney pretty much destroyed the Star Wars brand and, well, no one is basically enthusiastic to see Star Wars movies anymore. It's no secret that the production was rushed, with J.J. Abrams subbing in for Colin Trevorrow in September of 2017 with the intent of hitting May 24th, 2019 release date, and to their credit, Disney eventually delayed the film to December 20th, 2019, giving each Star Wars episode a 2-year gap. Alas, the final theatrical cut has all the signs of a rushed production and behind-the-scenes melodrama in a way that wasn't obviously evident with The Force Awakens, Rogue One, and Solo. The film we got, putting aside plot choices for a moment, was a glorified find-the-thing video game with little to no time for character interaction, human bonding, world-building, exposition, or even grandiose action sequences. To be fair, some of that was due to crafting a film which featured footage from Carrie Fisher's General Leia. Well, this is quite the opinion that has been changed here, hasn't it? Scott Middleton went from praising Star Wars Episode 9 to basically saying it had drama behind the scenes and saying it's basically now imperiled the entire Star Wars franchise. Not to mention, he also looks like he's trying to save his career by basically admitting all the faults that are with Disney's Star Wars by not actually admitting any of the problems he actually has himself by basically not mentioning the fact he kept praising Disney's Star Wars up until now, until basically when the final movie in the Skywalker saga didn't meet any of the SJW journalist expectations. He's basically turned his back on it. So he's using any and all of his available options to basically try and, well, find a way out of this situation, basically give him some of his dignity back. But who am I kidding? Scott Milson and SJW writers have no dignity at all. They're arrogant and they will continue to lie endlessly. He's only admitting that Star Wars has made mistakes, not he himself, but when he was praising it up till now. See how he basically insults the fact that the movie was a glorified Find the Thing video game? A lot of movies have the certain item that people are looking for to solve their problems. The MacGuffin movie, which is a quite well-established film trope. Disney failed in this because they insisted on putting their agenda politics in, as well as basically cramming 2 movies worth of dialogue into one movie, which is why Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker failed. One of many reasons that even Scott Milson pretty much sums up when he says that after Fisher died, it pretty much caused Colin Trevorrow's discarded Duel of the Fates screenplay to be, thrown away because it couldn't be used because it hinged on Princess Leia being alive. And you can pretty much see that, yes, his contemporaries are pretty much calling him out on his opinion now because he's basically stepping back and keeps stepping back away from his opinions when he said Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker was going to be the greatest Star Wars movie ever. And they're calling him out on it because they think it's basically going against their own agendas, and they see it as basically a betrayal. Which it is, because he wants to work in the future and not be, hand-begging out on the streets. He finishes his article off with, that was the risk with selling The Rise of Skywalker, not just as the trilogy capper to the first batch of Disney Star Wars movies, but as the grand finale to the Skywalker solo narrative, in a world where Logan, The Dark Knight Rises, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, and even the Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 2 ended their franchises on financial high notes. Selling Rise of Skywalker as the end of all things made 104% commercial sense. However, Star Wars 9's thus had to be a good movie, B, a satisfying trilogy capper, and C, a winning finale to the whole Star Wars saga. It arguably was none of those things, in a way that discolored the entire 9-film episodic saga. There is no do-over. Star Wars will survive. I don't really think so. But the Skywalker saga may not. Actually, it's all Star Wars, so yeah, you're pretty much saying Star Wars is completely destroyed and is just going to be forgotten like many other long and, dormant sci-fi franchises in the future. That's pretty much the future of this franchise, and I will always say that we will have the original, trilogy films as well as the prequel saga, so we have that. But if Disney is going to continue, MCUing the Star Wars movies like they hope to do in the future, I hope this franchise doesn't rise its head ever up again. In fact, I hope the MCU as well goes into a long dormant state and just as long and forgotten, because I cannot continue to watch Star Wars movies or any Disney movies at all if they're just going to be chock full of these agenda politics in the future. We can always make new franchises and, good around them and love them like we did Star Wars, but if it's going to be like this in the future, these franchises should just die and Disney along with it. Because we don't need movies with these kinds of politics in them. We need movies that are escapism and just pure fun. Something we can take our families to and enjoy for 2 hours and not have to worry about the entire world trying to barge into our little worlds. And that's my opinion, and I'm sticking with it. If you like this video, subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed because YouTube is going around unsubscribing people, so make sure you're still subscribed. If you're watching my videos but you're not subscribed, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Read comics that are bad for you. Then go over to BitChute and Library and subscribe to my channels on those 2 websites. They're both named Comic Freak. Hit that bell for notifications, hit that like button, and leave some comments down below. And if you could you also please share this video, share it on Twitter, share it on Reddit, and share share it on Facebook, share it anywhere you think it'll do the most good, because YouTube is not going around promoting their own YouTube creators anymore. So please share this video. Now listen closely. It's that time of the day again. It's plug-in time. Keep checking back in all my future videos for more information on my own upcoming independent comic book scumdogs. I'm Chris Williams, and I'll be back again tomorrow with another video or review.